Greetings folks, and I hope the spirit of music has tutored you well wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. But no ordinary review, oh no, this is one of Mr. Go Figures' most eagerly anticipated figures of 2025. Yes folks, it's Kaustic Plastiks' 1/6 scale take on Lon Chaney as the Phantom from the 1925 Rupert Julian directed horror classic The Phantom of the Opera, based on the novel by Gaston Leroux. So, usual format folks, a quick look at the box, or boxes rather, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories, then it'll be out with the Phantom himself for a close-up look, and then we'll be going out with the usual showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I'd like to send the usual Paris Opera House size shout out to everyone who supported the channel. And please drop a like and hype on this video as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're sure not to miss any of the 1/6 scale news, reviews, previews, showcases and all that other good stuff that we've got coming up. And I'd also like to send a huge shout out to Tim as well over at the Kaustic Plastik and Infinite Statue Facebook group for all his support that he's shown towards the channel. And if it's anything Infinite Statue or Kaustic Plastik related news wise that you're wanting to keep up to date with, I've dropped a link to the Facebook page, that Facebook group, in the description below, so please do check it out. But enough of my ramblings, on to the boxes. So let's stop this one from spinning. We won't be getting up close and personal with these two boxes at the back here, and I've got to say, I have taken delivery of numerous 1/6 scale figures in my time, but I don't think I've ever taken delivery of a box quite as large and as heavy as this particular figure came in. I am assuming a lot of that is down to the church organ, the magnetic diorama that this piece comes with. But yeah, very, very heavy. The two boxes in the background there speak for themselves. You've got the magnetic diorama on the left hand side, you've got the church organ on the right hand side. I am not going to attempt to spin these boxes around, but take my word for it. Quality thick stock card going on here. Not a vast amount in the way of information on there. You've got that Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera on the front there. You've got the Infinite Statue, Kaustic Plastik and Chaney Entertainment logo on the bottom of this right one. Pretty much everything else is plain on there, apart from the church organ. There is a brief description of the church organ on the back, but we will take an up-close look at the figure box itself. And as usual, I think Kaustic Plastik have excelled themselves with the artwork here. What you've got on the slip cover front is what looks sort of like a pen and ink drawing, almost ink blot style, watercolor style painting of Chaney himself, in that iconic arms cross pose from the movie, looking off into the middle distance there. Done in monochrome to reflect the original print of the movie, as are both the boxes, or all of the boxes rather. It says exclusive edition 1/6 scale action figure at the top there, Phantom of the Opera Lon Chaney, and you've got the signature of the artist for the slip cover down there in the bottom left hand corner. On the right hand side, just a colour image of the figure itself. Around this side, you've got a list of all the bits and pieces that come included with the exclusive edition. If you're wanting to pause there, feel free to do so to check out the contents. On the bottom of the box, just says Phantom of the Opera. That's repeated on the top of the box. Around the back, you've got the usual credits and warnings. Don't piss this figure off or you may never escape the Parisian catacombs. And once again, it says Phantom of the Opera there. And you've got 14 of 180, the web exclusive being limited to 180 worldwide. So that's the box. We remove the slip cover, and what you are greeted with is the usual clear plastic windowed box underneath with the figure itself and the accessories. Around the side, Phantom of the Opera again, and in grayscale around here, what looks like a shot of the organ as well. And once again, you've got more information on the back here. This actually details the differences between the standard, the deluxe, and the exclusive edition. And there's also a brief history of the movie and Lon Chaney himself. So those are the boxes, and very impressive they are too. What we've come to expect from Kaustic Plastik. But that's enough of the boxes. We're here to see the figures though. Let's crack the seals open on this box. Let's dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories you get with your Phantom figure. Okay folks, so due to the sheer size and weight of the magnetic diorama display base and the organ itself, the accessory section of this video is going to come at you in three parts. These are the accessories that come with the figure, so we'll take a look at those first. Hands, let's talk hands. You get 4 pairs of hands, that's 8 hands in total obviously. There's a pair on the figure already, which we'll take a look at when we bring the Phantom out, but let's have a look at the quality. And I've got high hopes for these hands. Let's pick a couple at random here. And you've got gesturing hands, which is probably the most important thing here. You've got these splayed hands, you've got pointed finger hands, and as I say, high hopes. The Kaustic Plastiks history of hand making is quite legendary, or at least it is in the Go Figure household. So let's take a look at this hand first, this right hand. And I've got to say, I don't think Kaustic Plastik have let us down here in the quality of sculpt and paint application. They've captured that deathly pallor. Now, it's difficult to get the exact hue when you're working from a black and white print, but it's quite obvious in the original movie that his pallor is deathly, and I think the tones that they've gone for here are very, very good. And I know Kaustic Plastik do their research and background work. But I think, yeah, the paint applications here are great. The sculpt is phenomenal. You've got bone work there. There's visible vein work. There's reddening at the knuckles, both on the fingers themselves and where they meet the hand. The sculpting on the paint applications on those fingernails, if I can get those right into shot there, is very, very good indeed. And you've got those sort of reddy pinky hues continued in the palms of the hands as well, which are really nicely creased as well. And overall, yeah, it's up to the high standard that we've come to expect from Kaustic Plastik hands. Grab another one at random. Yeah, there's more of a gesturing hand going on here, almost a beckoning hand. And once again, bone work, vein work, paint applications, exemplary here from Kaustic Plastik. Flexibility test. Yeah, we're looking at a medium here, so gripping any accessory shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, we're off to a great start there. Excellent hands, as we've come to expect. Spare wrist pegs, great to see. And you get, this is good actually, we're getting 4. Seeing four wrist pegs, 4 spare wrist pegs is great. Let's take a look at this stuff, other bits and pieces. You get an art postcard, very nicely done here, with a note to you on the back congratulating you on your purchase. And it's a copy of the design that's used on the slipcover of the front, and very nice it is too. So there's that. You also get this other card here, which is basically an instruction card, but you've got 2 shots of the figure on the front there. It's a separate eyeball rolling system, and it shows you how to access the back of the head and how to use the eyeball roll, the separate eyeball rolling system. So great to see the inclusion of the eyeball rolling system. I think it will really add to the character and depth of this piece. And nice to see the instruction card done in an artistic way as well. You also get this thank you card, which is sort of standard with Kaustic Plastik figures these days. Once again, thanking you on your purchase and let you know who to contact if there are any issues. So yeah, those are the cards. You also get your web gift. Now, historically, Kaustic Plastik have given us t-shirts with their web exclusive, but they've chosen to break the mold a little bit here, and they've gone with this mask. Now, I haven't opened this mask. I'm a little bit loath to use it because I don't know whether I'll be using it in the display, and I think it's just so nicely packaged with that Phantom of the Opera card strip at the top there. But yeah, this is a replica done in plastic of the mask that he wears in the film itself. Very nicely done. The eyes are screen accurate with those eyebrows on there. Grey plastic, and it's even got this sort of micro mesh film at the bottom here, which is entirely screen accurate, which if you look at the film closely you can see it moving when he's speaking and breathing. And it's topped off with this material beanie hat as well. I suppose I'm going to have to open this. I suppose it's inevitable, but for the time being I'm keeping it in its package. So yeah, that's your web gift. And finally you get the standard issue Kaustic Plastik magnetic stand, magnetic base. Now, collectors of Kaustic Plastik figures will recognise this instantaneously. It's a hollow plastic, it's black. On the bottom it says Action Deluxe Figure, Infinite Statue, Kaustic Plastik designed in Italy. 4 foam feet. Other companies, please pay attention to this to minimise the slippage in the display. And it'll be magnetised on the top here with magnets being placed in the feet of the figure itself to hold it securely. On the front, you've got this plastic name plaque, which is painted to look almost brass, and I think it looks great. It says Phantom of the Opera there on the front, so that's your magnetic stand. So that's the first of the accessories, but let's bring out the magnetic diorama display base and take a look at that. Okay folks, so accessories box number 1 open, and it becomes evident why we're having to do this accessories section in 3 parts. This is the luxury magnetic diorama base, and it is huge and exceptionally heavy. I don't think I have seen a larger diorama display base come as standard with a 1/6 scale figure ever. I think this is probably one of the biggest. I thought that Kaustic Plastiks Twin Peaks diorama base was large, but this has got it beaten hands down. It is like a paving slab. It is enormous. It measures about 14.5 inches square. It is enormous, but you also get a few other little bits and pieces with it as well. Let's take a quick look at those. You get the music stand, and this is all one piece of sculpted plastic. However, Kaustic Plastik have done their usual fantastic job of making it look like wood. The sculpt is really nice. There's wood graining in there. The paint applications are excellent. The screen accuracy is on point with the shape of the stand head there. The paint applications to give it that worn and weathered look at the joints there, with the gradation of the brown paint applications almost into black. Give it that aged look as well, and I think that's really, really nice touch there. So yeah, that's your that's the music stand, and also you get the violin and bow. Now I was quite surprised actually taking this out of the box. This violin is all one piece of sculpted plastic. It's not hollow, which is great because it actually gives it a feeling of solidity. It doesn't feel delicate. You don't feel like you're going to break it. The body of the violin itself is really nicely sculpted. The paint applications are great to give it that wood effect. You've got this almost streaking in there at the front there, if the camera's picking this up, those lines that you get in sort of the cracked varnish of an aging violin. The strings themselves, these are a clear plastic, but they do move. They've got some movement in them. And overall, yeah, the paint applications and the sculpt, really, really nice representation there of the violin used in the movie. So yeah, that's the violin, but you also get the bow as well. Bow itself, once again, this is sculpted plastic. No catgut here, but what you do have is a sort of a grey coloured strip of plastic down there to represent the catgut for drawing across the strings. And the bow itself, yeah, black highlighted sections at the end there, and overall very, very convincing and very nicely done. So that's your violin and bow. Paving slab time. Wow, this thing is huge. Let's take a quick look underneath this thing, because it is worth looking at. What you've got underneath here, if I can flip this thing over, is once again you're seeing that artwork that's used on that art card and on the front cover of the box itself. Really nicely done. This is a sticker, I believe, that's on the bottom here. It's lifting a little bit in places in the center there, but just needs a bit of pressing down. And once again, you've got Infinite Statue, Kaustic Plastik, and the Chaney Entertainment logos around the side there. But flip it back round, if I can do this, and this thing does weigh a lot. You are going to need some acreage in your display. You really are. This is a massive piece. I use Detolfs. I don't think there's a hope in hell that this is going to fit into a Detolf, so I'm going to have to come up with some other solution. But what you do have, obviously, is this resin painted slab to look like the floor of the Phantom's lair in the catacombs. You've got this step up. The sculpt and the paint application to give it that sort of stone look are really nice. There's shades of grey, shades of yellow in there. And then you've got this carpet on top. The edges of the carpet are actually sculpted into the top of the base itself, but they're not even, to give it that material type look, that feathered type look, which is picked out with grey and white paint applications. And then you've got the rest of the carpet on the top, which is real material. And it has this lovely felt-like feel to it. Super smooth, and just looks really, really effective draping over this step at the front here. Obviously the movie was in black and white, so we can't be 100% certain what the colour of this carpet was, but I like the colours that Kaustic Plastik have gone with here. These are deep reds and browns and so on, and it just looks really, really effective. So yeah, that is your carpeted paving slab or luxury diorama base, whichever you want to call it. So without further ado, let's take a look at the organ. Okay folks, so Accessories box number 2 opened, and that was no easy feat, I might add. And it's organ time, and what an immense piece this is, but we'll take a quick look around the bits and pieces before we fully construct it. You get this section that sits on the top of the organ to hold the music and so on, and all the other accessories. Sits on there simply by friction, and has a tilt to it so it leans forward for more authenticity. Painted and sculpted to look like wood, although I believe it's made out of the same resin material as the body of the organ itself. And the shading is nice, the wood graining effect there is very good, and overall, yeah, nice piece. The seat, now this is heavy, solid piece of resin this, and once again it's painted with the same colours and the same style of paint application and sculpt that you see on the organ. And you've got a wood graining effect going on in there, you've got a shading effect down to the edges there to give it that worn look. The seat on top is sort of this pinned cushion, almost Chesterfield style, and looks very, very authentic. Paint applications are really nice. Kaustic Plastik have gone with this deep purple colour, which I think works really well. And these paint applications, darker paint applications into those pinned button sections to give it that depth and that used look. And there's a recessed seating section at the front here where the Phantom's obviously been sat, and I would assume that's going to make it a lot easier for posing him at the organ. Yeah, it's got some weight to it, this seat, but overall I think the sculpt and the paint applications are very good indeed. Oh, and it's also got this braided effect sculpted into the edge of the cushioned area with this gold paint application picking out those tassels. So that's the seat. You also get a book of music. Well, I say a book of music. It's and this is where this really I had a sharp intake of breath when I took this out of the box, just at the attention to detail here. This is Don Juan Triumphant, which is the opera that the Phantom is working on in secret in the catacombs, and I just thought it would be a book to sit on, or a music book to sit on the stand on top of the organ, until I opened it up. The front and the back, the binding of this book feel like they're sculpted plastic, although they may be possibly resin, not 100% certain, but yeah, you've got this red front cover with these gold protectors in the corner there. It says Don Juan Triumphant across the front, black spine, that's repeated on the back as well. But when you open it up, and this is where it really, really took my breath away, not only do you have the music on individual sheets as well, you also have each of the letters that the Phantom writes, not only to Carlotta, but to the owners of the Opera House, the new owners of the Opera House. And I just think it's a great, great touch here, and they've been done really, really well. They're on a high quality paper, but they've got a sheen to them and a shading to them to make them look aged. And I just think that is a wonderful touch. It's little touches like this that really, really make Mr. Go Figure smile. So yeah, you get all of those, and you also get the music as well, and a number of pages of the music as well, so you can have this open on top of the organ if you want to. So let's just move these out of the way, and we've just lost one there, but I will retrieve that between takes. We'll put those to one side. What else do you get? You get his hat, sculpted plastic, pretty screen accurate as far as I can tell there. It would have been nice to see this in material, but maybe I'm pushing my luck. But overall, yeah, well sculpted and well painted. Just a plain back. I think it's a Homburg. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comment section if I am. But you get the hat with the organ as well. You also get this inkwell and this fountain pen, or rather feather, writing feather, and I think very nicely done. Yeah. Not sure whether this is magnetically attached. I don't think it's going to be the most stable thing once you've got the feather in there, but overall, paint and sculpting, very nice indeed, with gradiated greys on that feather with whites included to give it that feather-like look, and the inkwell itself is just black sculpted plastic. What else? You also get this vase. Now, from the weight of this, I'm going to say that this is, I'm not sure whether, I don't think this is resin. I think this is sculpted plastic. It feels like plastic to me, although it's cold to the touch. But yeah, sculpted vase to go on top of the organ as well. It's got this felt pad on the bottom here. Now I'm not 100% convinced how this is going to stand, because it's not the most stable thing in the world, but it will easily be knocked off. Whether this is removable or self-adhesive, not 100% certain, but I will check that between takes. But the sculpt and paint application on the vase itself are really nice to give it that pewter look, with the greys and the silvers in there and the darker areas and the weathering. Overall, very, very nicely done. So that's the vase. Now the main body of the organ itself. Let's just move these pieces out of the way. We're going to need some space for this. Let's drag this huge, hefty beast closer into shot. And it is exceptionally heavy. Let's take a look underneath. You've got a felt section underneath there, so hopefully that will minimize movement in the display. Incredibly heavy. You've got the pedals sculpted in there, done in that same paint application and sculpt to give it that wood effect that we see in the stand and in the seating arrangement around the side. Once again, those paint applications are really nice, gradiating down to the bottom to give it that worn look. It doesn't look brand new. It doesn't look. It does look like it has been used, and that's continued around this right-hand side. But the real sort of tour de force of this is this keyboard. I think the paint applications on this keyboard and on the buttons are phenomenal. Really, really accurate, and this is where you do need accuracy when you're producing paint applications on something in like a 1/6 scale keyboard. You really do need to be on point, and Kaustic Plastiks have nailed it here. There is not a section of this where the paint applications have look like they've run or dripped or bled into each other. Just looks beautiful. It's got that shine to it, and the ivories look phenomenal, and just overall fantastic, if very heavy. Let's just check around the back. I'm not expecting huge things, but yeah, once again, the back of this piece is sculpted and painted to give it that wood-like effect. You also get the pedals. Now let's spin this guy back round, take a quick look at the pedal section. Pedal section, once again, this is resin, painted to look like wood, and a very good job they've done too, picking out the details of the graining and the weathering, and a slightly different shade on these sections that meet the body of the organ itself. Two pegs here. There's no magnets, I don't think here. I think this is just a friction thing, and you just simply slide that section into the front of the organ and it sits in place. So that's the organ. So there you have it, folks. That's all the bits and pieces that come with the exclusive version. So without further ado, let's put all these bits together. Let's bring out the Phantom himself and have a close-up look at him. Okay folks, Phantom out of the box and onto this incredible diorama base. Mr. Go Figure is going to make no apologies for the length of this review. There is simply so much stuff to look at. But yeah, let's take a look at the figure. I haven't altered the figure. Well, I have. I tell a lie. Slight alteration. The only thing I've done to the figure straight out of the box is alter the eyes. I've just set them off to one side ever so slightly. And it's worth mentioning at this point, normally in reviews we will be looking at the figure on the standard issue base on the turntable, but I just had to put him on this diorama base because I don't think my meagre photography and my limited vocabulary can do this diorama base justice. It is phenomenal. It really is next level stuff here from Kaustic Plastiks. It is simply stunning. And as good as this magnetic base is, the standard issue magnetic base, I can't really see me using this, to be honest with you, for anything other than photography. I was going to lower the lights at this point, but we need to have the lights up to see the detail on the figure itself. I think this thing is going to photograph incredibly well, so be sure to stay tuned for this showcase at the end. But let's get up close and personal with the Phantom. First thing, proportions. I've got to say, proportions nailed on. As I mentioned earlier, I revisited the film for probably the 500th time last night, just to make sure I was keyed up for this particular video, and I've got to say, proportions look on point. First thing you notice is that head sculpt, but we will get to it. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up as we always do. Shoes, sculpted plastic, very nicely done. They've got that stacked heel, and if you've seen the movie, you'll recognise that he wears the stacked heel. Lon Chaney was not the tallest of guys, and he wasn't the thickest set either. He was a slim guy, quite short, so he wore these stacked heels, and they've caught that beautifully there. They're sculpted in stitching on these shoes. Let's check the articulation while we're here. Yeah, you've got left and right movement, forward and backward movement. Let's have a quick peek under here and see if we're looking at socks. They're boots, which is fitting with the film itself, and you've got sculpted in laces. I don't think there are any socks under there, but I'm not going to pull those trousers up any further to double check. So yeah, you've got this cloak, the opera cloak, over the top of the suit itself with the holes where the arms come through. Now, the collectors of Kaustic Plastik figures will recognise this material straight away. It's been used in the Bela Lugosi capes, it's been used in the Christopher Lee capes and so on. It's a beautiful material, it's got a lovely feel to it, a lovely satin sheen to it, but what I would say from the get-go here is if you get sort of those burrs or spurs on the skin on the end of your fingers, or you've got dinks in your fingernails or anything like that, be super careful with this material. It catches incredibly easily. The weave is so fine that it's very, very easy to pull it, but the effect is phenomenal. The inside of this cape, it's double stitched and the stitch work is exemplary, as we come to expect. You've got that satin finished interior as well, which is screen accurate. I'll just lift this away so we can take a look at this suit underneath. Now, straight away, what always strikes me about the tailoring of Kaustic Plastiks suits is the material used, the cotton that they use. Now, the cotton itself is really, really nice, soft to the touch. It feels high-end, it feels quality. The stitch work in those pants is excellent. They are very, very high-waisted, which is screen accurate. The stitch work around that fly area, super accurate as well. I will lift his arm up at this point so he can get underneath. He's got that tailcoat jacket underneath there, which is wired, which is great. We will do some poses without the cape in the showcase at the end. Working our way up. Oh, let's just check the articulation while we're here. Let's check the knee joints. Knee joints, you've got a ratchet there, and that will go about that far up, maybe a little bit further. Yeah, you could probably push it up all the way up to the back if you wanted to. I don't want to push it too far because I don't want to damage this beautiful suit. You've got there's no swivel at the thigh area, but because of the high-waisted nature of these pants, there's plenty of movement at the top of that leg there. Not one for dynamic posing, this one. This is more about the upper body posing, I think, to capture that likeness to the movie itself. But yeah, let's work our way up. Let's just lift this this outer cape. In actual fact, let's remove this cape. Yeah, we'll just check around the back. Yeah, beautifully done. It is a dust and hair magnet. Literally, this is straight out of the box, and it's already picking up tiny little pieces of dust and so on. But yeah, let's take this cape off and have a check out what's underneath. So, opera cape off, and we can see the full suit underneath here, this full tail suit. And as I mentioned before, dust magnet this thing. I can see me cleaning it on a regular basis. But yeah, you're greeted with the three-piece tailcoat suit underneath, and I've got to say, tailoring is exemplary here. It really, really is. Very, very good. I would expect nothing less from Kaustic Plastik, but I think they've done a spectacular job here. Underneath this this beautifully tailored tailcoat, you've got this this vest section. This vest is made out of it feels like a man-made fibre. The stitch work is really, really nice. It's got a sheen to it, which is sort of picked out in that tailcoat as well. The buttons on the front there, really nicely done. Irregularly placed, those buttons, and I believe that is screen accurate, but I have to go back and double check. Underneath that vest, you've got a cotton shirt. It's almost white. I think it's slightly off-white. I don't think it's a full white, but yeah, lovely tailoring and stitch work in that white shirt. The bow tie, the cravat at the front here is made out of material, but it's been it feels like it's been treated at the edges there and in the creases, so it'll keep its shape. You've got that beautiful bow there in that deep red satin finish, and the high collared shirt as well to finish it off. Now, I mentioned the wiring. The wiring isn't just exclusively to the, let's lift his arm up at this point so we can see this. isn't just exclusively to the tail section of this coat. It actually runs up into the lapel area as well. So as you can see here, you can have the front section of this tailcoat flaring out as well. So if you do want to get something a little bit more dynamic in the display, that's an option as well. Beautiful satin finish to the lapels on this tailcoat. Let's swing him around the back, have a quick look at the back. Yeah, really, it's the gift that keeps giving this figure. Stitch work here is phenomenal. The fit and the finish of this coat are great, and once again that wiring is running all the way along the bottom here. There's no wiring in these sections, in these pleated sections at the back. That is reserved for around the edges there, but you can really futz around with this coat to your heart's content and get it going off at all kinds of angles if you're wanting to do that. The arms themselves, you've got these seams running down the arms and absolutely on point. There isn't a loose thread or a dodgy 6 scale stitch to be seen here, and they come down to these open collar areas, which are once again screen accurate, where they're flared open at the end there, and you can see that shirt sticking through the cuff area there. I think they've done these cuffs beautifully with these silver almost cufflinks holding them together. I believe they're sewn together, but they're sewn in such a way as to give it that impression of a cufflink. These are the hands that we didn't look at in the accessories section. Very expressive, open palmed hands, and once again they're sculpted and painted to the same level of detail and accuracy that we see with the other hands as well. Loving this one. I think this one, even down by the side of the figure, I think this hand here just looks super impressive and super expressive. Onto the head sculpt now. Let's get this in as close as we can here. Now I think I think Kaustic Plastiks have done a phenomenal job here. They really have. Yeah, unmistakably Lon Chaney, but you couldn't really go far wrong with that one. But yeah, I think they've captured the likeness here incredibly well. The skin texturing, the tones there. You've got, I mean, I'm not sure whether the light's picking this up, but you've almost got this sort of blue thread veins running through the face area there. The skin's got that deathly pallor, which is in keeping with the film. The teeth are suitably gruesome. They have a sheen to them though, if the light's playing off that, which looks absolutely excellent. Although they are grizzled and brown, they still shine. The inside of the mouth, although it's only partially open, you've got that wet look going on there. I think they've gone for that sort of classic look that he had when he had his arms crossed. I think it just works incredibly well. You've got that sunkenness to the cheeks there, the high cheekbones going on here, the extended forehead, and once again, the paint applications are so good here. There are traces of blue veins running up through those creases in the forehead there, if the light's catching that. Now, famously, as we all know, Lon Chaney did his own makeup for the film. He came up with this look. That turned up nose isn't how he looked. I believe he actually ran some kind of wire down his forehead with implants in his nose, which actually pulled round the back of his head to pull his nose up. So all during filming, he had the end of his nose literally lifted off his face. That can't have been the easiest thing in the world, but yeah. Legendary actor and legendary makeup man as well, doing his own makeup here. But yeah, the hair, let's get onto this hair. Really grotesque hairstyle, and they've captured it beautifully. That center parting, there's feathering at the edges there and around the ears. The ears have got that sort of pinky redness to them. Once again, that blue vein texture, a blue vein sort of paint application is going on in the cheek area. I think that at the risk of sounding incredibly pedantic, I don't think I've ever seen that kind of blue vein paint work done so subtly and so well outside of Kaustic Plastiks. I think they've absolutely nailed it. The dark areas around the eyes there, which he deliberately painted darker to give him that skull-like quality, work incredibly well. They're not just black, but there are hints of purple in there. Altering the eyes using the movable eyeball system was a revelation. The bloodshot quality in these eyes becomes more intense the more you move them to one side. It becomes incredibly pronounced when you get them all right across to one side. But the way they've done that bloodshot effect in the eyes I think is great. Eyes are the right colour, that sort of chestnut brown, the eyebrows beautifully done, the darkness to the nostril area. Overall, yeah, I think it's a phenomenal piece of work here from Kaustic Plastik. I really am struggling to find anything wrong with this head sculpt. Well, that's probably because there isn't anything wrong with it. Around the back here, you've got that ball patch going on with hints of wisps of hair there, just ever so slight wisps of hair. To access the moving eyeball system, it's magnetically attached. You simply remove the back of the head like that, and you've got the two joystick system at the back of the eyes there that we all know and love. Super strong magnets, so there's no issues there. It literally clips back on. He said confidently, and because of the nature of this hairstyle, with the centre parting and it running straight down in curtains either side of his face, you lose that seam line entirely, so there is no visible seam line there to get into the back of that head. So there you have it, folks. That is Kaustic Plastiks' take on Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera. I think it's time for a final verdict on this guy. Okay folks, so it's verdict time on Kaustic Plastiks' take on Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera. And normally I wouldn't go handheld at this point, but I just couldn't resist moving the camera around so I can let everybody's eyes just feast on this incredible feat that Kaustic Plastik have managed to achieve here. It really is something truly spectacular. Let's start with the good stuff. That diorama base, yes, it's the size of a paving slab, and you're going to need some incredible acreage in your display to use it. You can go with the standard issue Kaustic Plastik magnetic base, but why would you when you've got this incredible, amazing piece to feast your eyes on? Yeah, it's incredibly well made. That resin is fantastic and painted to look like stone. Loving the carpet on the top there. The organ, what can I say about the organ? It's a huge piece. It's an epic piece. Loving the detail, the attention to detail there, particularly that book of music with the notes in it. But the sculpting, the paint applications on that organ, on those keys, overall, it's just a phenomenal piece. Even the smaller accessories, this music stand and violin, beautifully done. So accessories absolutely nailed on. I can't fault them, and they come in buckets with this piece, so you can have a field day photographing this piece or swapping it up in the display. So accessories, simply amazing. That diorama base, a stunning piece of work from Kaustic Plastik. But let's talk about the figure. The good points about the figure: proportions, absolutely nailed on. Screen accuracy is there in spades. That suit and the tailoring, beautifully done. Not a loose stitch to be seen, not a hanging thread. The materials that Kaustic Plastik have used, exemplary as always. The quality of the cotton and the craftsmanship that's gone into the outfit is incredible. That head sculpt, let's talk about that head sculpt. I can't fault it. I really genuinely cannot fault it. There is not an angle here where that head sculpt is not Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera. From the teeth to the skin texturing, that incredible blue vein work, which I'm still struggling to figure out how the hell they do. The hairstyle, the movable eye system to give it that extra depth, and and all those possibilities that you can get from moving those eyes are amazing. The hands, beautifully sculpted as always, beautifully painted, and lots of swap out options as well. Articulation is on point, considering that this suit is quite restrictive in the upper body in particular, is very, very good. Yeah, I really cannot find anything wrong with this. Let's talk about the downsides. There aren't any. It's as simple as that. I cannot find anything to complain about here. The only thing I can complain about, and really that's it's my own fault, is I didn't measure this thing before pre-ordering it, so I wasn't quite aware of just how much space it's going to take up. But that's my problem, and most certainly not Kaustic Plastiks. This is simply superb, and as regulars to the channel will know, if I can't find anything wrong with a piece, we know where we're going score-wise. Yes, folks, it's a 10 out of 10 for Kaustic Plastiks' take on Lon Chaney. There's no escaping it. I simply cannot find anything to complain about. It's a 10 out of 10, and it's going to be a definite contender for Figure of the Year for me. I think Kaustic Plastik have done it again. They have nailed everything on. And not only are they producing the kind of figures that I want in my collection, they are producing them to such an incredibly high standard that they're leaving other people in their wake. So there you have it, folks. Just fingers crossed that the London at Midnight and the London After Midnight rather, and their Frankenstein figures keep up this incredible level, quality, detailing and craftsmanship, and for a lover of all things classic horror, this is a dream come true for me. And there you have it then, 10 out of 10 for Kaustic Plastik, and a pat on the back from Mr. Go Figure. So what are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have it on pre-order? Have you got it already? Are you thinking of picking it up? Are you going for the deluxe edition? Will you be getting the paving slab as well? What are your thoughts on Kaustic Plastik? What are your thoughts on Lon Chaney? What are your thoughts on the movie? Nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. I'd be fascinated to hear your take on this piece. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, in the 1/6 scale figure department, we have plenty more stuff coming in. We've got new figures from, obviously, Kaustic Plastik. We've got stuff from Hot Toys, In Art, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Iconic Studios, the list goes on. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale goodness we've got coming up. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is, from the amazing Lon Chaney as Phantom of the Opera and myself, a massive thank you for watching, as always. And until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.